And now for something completely different.
Forget everything you've been told by others before. Get ready for the real deal. The full story. Real talk about money, markets, life. Now, it's The Real Investment Show, presented by RIA Advisors.
And let's get ready for joy. Because it's Labor Day weekend, right? And welcome to Financial Fitness Friday. I'm Rich Rosso, CFP. Danny's not here. He's, I don't know, MIA. But we have the Jonathan McCarty here.
Thanks, Rich.
To help us out.
Good to be back in the
The
studio
man,
with
the
you.
myth, the legend. More credentials than Lucky Charms has chemicals.
I like to collect letters after my name.
Me too. Lance goes, I think you're going to need another business card if you keep this up.
That's the goal. One
No,
for my
there's
name.
another side.
Yeah, one for my name, one for all the designations.
There you go.
Perfect.
Wow, I like that idea. I like that idea. So we have futures up this morning. Happy futures, joyful futures. Awaiting PCE, the Fed's preferred inflation measure, right? So we will see if inflation is going as expected. Yes, Larry, that's joy is someone else's slogan. I stole it. We're allowed to steal here. It's every man for himself. And joy is big enough to be spread among all of us, like a disease. So the one thing we could see is obviously markets have been, Jonathan, I mean, I don't know what words to use besides resilient, incredible, outstanding, beautiful, Big, really big.
Tremendous.
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 We use some Trump words. It's shocking in a way. I mean, it just barrels ahead. And that's why I always tell everyone markets are so counterintuitive, perhaps to how you feel, or perhaps a segment of the economy is struggling. It doesn't matter. It's always about the Fed and interest rates first, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Key driver.
Always a key driver of things. So just what you think is going to happen doesn't happen. And Nvidia comes out with perfection, but not perfect enough. Now, and everybody, I've noticed on one of the business channels yesterday, they had sort of the ticker in the corner, but just Nvidia, how Nvidia is falling off a cliff. It was down like 6%. The stock's like what? Up what? 150%? Whatever. Yeah, 6%. It's a noise, right?
Correct.
So the AI story is still very strong, and that's something that's going to continue, I think, for a while. But what I do like is the broadening of what we've seen as far as market breadth, right? We are seeing almost every sector, interest rate sensitive sectors participate. That's been strong. But now we're having a problem. We've built up more cash, but I'm very hesitant to put any more money into the market. I tell everyone, listen, we're letting it ride and taking profits, but it just doesn't seem an opening here. We'll get one. We will get a 5 to 10% pullback here, but it's just, you got to be patient.
Yeah.
You got to be patient.
And after that big bounce with the yen carry trade pullback and then bounce right back up, I mean, it makes it difficult to look for entry points with that kind of a steep climb.
I was shocked by that bounce, but again, I was telling everyone, listen, when markets fall off a cliff, it's like one of those old cartoons when we were kids, and at the bottom of the cliff is that trampoline. There's that bounce.
Wile E. Coyote.
Wile E. Coyote,
That's
right? I saw a guy the other day. He has a big dent in his truck. And what does he have in the middle of the dent? A Wile E. Coyote sticker of him smashed into it. I thought, that's brilliant.
Yep.
That's absolutely brilliant. So we also see Treasuries poised for the longest monthly winning streak in 3 years. So U.S. government bonds returned 1.5% in August through Thursday. That's fourth month of gains. They are also overbought. If I do have to buy bonds, I always go to Treasuries. I don't think you're getting enough juice for corporate bonds here. Yeah. But it's tough even to buy the bonds. Donna's bringing up Dollar General. Dollar General and some of these dollar stores have gotten their butt handed to them. Dollar General, Big Lots is pretty much no lots.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, parking lots. They're just going to make it a parking lot.
All they'll be worth soon.
And, common sense would tell you that the way people are struggling, that they would be going into these stores. So when you look at Dollar General, like in specific, so I always look at certain companies as barometers, right? Walmart, good one, right? I even think Procter & Gamble and some of the others are good ones. But lots of traffic through Dollar General, but nobody's buying. So there is this segment of the economy that can't even afford a Five Below or Dollar General, because if you look at Walmart shoppers, and they keep track, those households earning $100,000 to $200,000 in income, those are the people who are shopping at Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart is bougie.
Yeah, I mean, there used to be a stigma. I remember growing up, there was a stigma if you shopped at Walmart.
No, it's it's the thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it highlights, which demographics in the country are really struggling, the situation with Dollar General, because historically and just in overall terms, Dollar General serves a lot of underserved communities. There's a lot of Dollar Generals that are spattered in rural America, where access to groceries in general is sometimes limited. So the fact that they are still struggling really shows where the cracks are starting to emerge in the economy.
Absolutely. I think they're good indicators. I think it all comes down to labor. If labor cracks, that's the problem. And I will tell you, in a lot of areas, labor is cracking, but where it's cracking is in the tech space.
Yeah.
It's in the FinTech space, right? Google's and so forth, laying off people. I read a story this morning about a young woman who just tried to log into her computer and she couldn't get into the system. And that was pretty much Google's way of telling her you're fired.
Nice.
They don't even tell you anymore.
Classy move.
You just can't even get in anymore. So you are seeing a lot of these high-tech jobs going by the wayside because they overhired during the pandemic, right? We were going to work this new way. It was going to be exclusively virtual. And obviously this hybrid and this overhiring has created this space.
Well, even reports about some of the big tech companies overhiring to stop their competitors from hiring, as a way to try and handicap your competition is now starting to unwind. And it's just flooding the market with tech workers looking for employment.
Yeah, so look at U.S. unemployment, right? Remains relatively low. But more than this is according to a report in the Wall Street Journal, 500,000 tech workers have been laid off since 2022.
That's staggering.
And these are the people that were getting all these perks, high-end offices, free food, unlimited vacation, right? Massage therapists coming in Monday and Wednesday. Not anymore. So it's just, the labor market is strange. It's strange on who's hiring, who isn't. But it's still, in essence, fairly strong. I think for the economy to crack and the market to crack, labor really needs to crack on a wholesale manner. That would cause the problem. So the Fed will go ahead and try to lower rates in September, but I don't think they have to rush out and do more than that.
I agree.
We'll see what happens. When we get back, we're going to talk about a new bill sets a 3-year time limit on Social Security clawbacks. Rawr! No joy. No joy there in the clawbacks. We'll be right back.
Get daily investment news you can use, delivered at the speed of the internet at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Building anything of substance requires careful planning, including your retirement. You need a blueprint to structure your funds against volatility and turbulence in the market. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Richard Rosso and Danny Ratliff share the RIA Retirement Blueprint, Saturday, September 14th at the Hyatt Centric in the Woodlands. How to structure your savings, level your risk, and craft a secure future. Register now for the Retirement Blueprint with Ratliff and Rosso at realinvestmentadvice.com. Realinvestmentadvice.com.
When it comes to wealth management, most people think of stocks and bonds, but it's like enjoying one layer in a 7-layer cake. At RIA Advisors, we want to make sure you get your cake and eat it too. Social Security, Medicare, creating a tax-friendly retirement paycheck. Perhaps you're saving for college. How about life insurance, guaranteed income solutions, all along with comprehensive planning. At RIA, a holistic approach to your money is our priority. Call us today, 855-RIA-PLAN, or find us online at realinvestmentadvice.com. Realinvestmentadvice.com.
The Real Investment Show.
Small businesses are discovering that attracting and retaining top talent come down to more than just salary. In today's highly competitive job market, compensation is more than just wages. Hi, I'm Tom Allen, RIA Advisors Retirement Plan Consultant. Healthcare and retirement plans can make the difference in hiring and retaining the best employees. We can show you how to build an affordable, effective employment package that delivers true value for your workers and your business. Call me toll free at 855-RIA-PLAN or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
And now, another page from the Real Investment Advisors Investing Manifesto. Bulls win in bull markets. Bears win in bear markets. Eagles soar above and take advantage of opportunity. Let us help you soar as you reach your financial goals with RIA Advisors. Neither bull nor bear. RIA Advisors, 281-501-1791 or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
You're listening to The Real Investment Show.
And welcome back. You know, before we get started, we're going to be doing something called Retirement Blueprint. For those of you in the Houston area, up in the Woodlands, that's Saturday, was it the 14th, Brad?
14th.
Saturday the 14th at 9 a.m. to 11. I will tell you, this is a soup to nuts understanding of what you need to do to build a sound retirement structure, right? One of the things we do best at RIA is tackle those financial dust bunnies. And what I mean is those areas of expertise that a lot of advisors do not want to go near. They rather just let the bunnies build, the dust to build under the bed. We sweep them out. Medicare, Social Security, taxes and retirement. You have to be, if you're a pre-retiree, or even if you just started in retirement, this is a full class, very thorough. Lots of new studies about retirement distributions and volatility that you need to bring in. So it's got a bit of an academic background to it, sort of a backbone to it, which is a lot of what we do. We're avid readers. We pull a lot of academic data and also just practical advice for things you need to consider. You know, more and more people, though, and this is something we do bring up in the blueprint, are working longer.
Yeah.
That is just the state of things. I don't care which quintile you're talking about, right? And 65 and older since the year 2000 has grown exponentially.
Yeah.
So there are many reasons for that, but we talk about that at the Retirement Blueprint. So if you want to sign up, go to realinvestmentadvice.com.
Yeah, I think a lot of the push to working longer lately, you know, people are recently seeing this massive spike in inflation that we incurred over the last few years, and they're reevaluating whether they actually have enough to make it through retirement. If we have a couple more cycles like we did over the last few years, it's going to erode the purchasing power of their savings.
And again, the cost of living adjustments for Social Security, which are based on the rate of change, they're no way going to keep up with the increase in Medicare, Part B premiums and so forth. And D, it's just not going to happen. And even though there have been a cut to some of the drugs under Part D, under some latest legislation, that portends to higher premiums coming. Sooner or later,
they're going to get it
you as the consumer, you pay.
Yep.
And the government sort of just closes their eyes to that. Mission accomplished. No mission accomplished because you're going to pay more.
They got their talking point.
They got their talking point. They got the check mark, and then you pay the price. And that's what's going to happen. So more and more people depend upon Social Security. You can have all the different viewpoints about Social Security. Oh, I wish I had the money for myself, and I could have done better in an S&P index fund. But let's face the facts. And I'm not talking about the people who listen to this show or listen on YouTube or people in the chat who are good financial stewards. Think about, Jonathan, is instead of you paying into Social Security, you have the ability to have that money yourself and invest it.
That would be huge.
Think about what your returns would have been. But think about the fact that most people would do what?
Probably nothing, or just
Spend
throw it into
the
the
money.
market. Yeah, well, yeah, that. Yeah.
Because they wouldn't save it. They would go, oh, look at this. A pot, right? The government loves leakage, right? You can go
Yeah.
I can go into my retirement account for anything. Like I need to get the carpet shampooed. Oh, I think I could take money out of my IRA.
Yeah.
Tax-free. Well, not tax-free, but maybe penalty-free. So imagine if most of America, which I hate to say it because we do have a financial literacy problem. Actually, it's a pandemic. If they were able to have that money, there is no way they would lock it up. And that's because we have lost pensions. And those were a lockbox,
They were, yeah.
right?
Well, you've even seen the articles coming out recently about, a large portion of Americans are now completely cutting the contributions to their own 401ks and retirement plans just because of the economic uncertainty.
Absolutely, right? It's a priority that they have to cut them. And there have been these auto contributions, which have been successful. You have to opt out, and that's been part of legislation in the past. But people are opting out
Yes.
because of where inflation is today.
Budgets are tight.
Absolutely. It's those darn grocery stores, and they're gouging. Those,
Kroger, we're looking at you.
those darn 1.3% margins. How dare you have such fat margins? So there were two representatives. This is a bipartisan bill to prevent Social Security Administration from reducing monthly payments from beneficiaries who received overpayments more than 3 years prior. So what they're looking at is more than the correct amount of payment was made to a person, recovery from that person may not be made if the overpayment occurred more than 3 years before the date of the finding, right? Does not apply, say, for example, if someone committed fraud or similar fault with respect to the program. So they're trying to say, listen, Social Security Administration, get your dang act together. Notify these people within a 3-year window, or they're going to have to waive it. Well, first of all, that's not going to happen.
Right. Counting on the government to do anything in a timely fashion.
So what they are saying is, you get a windfall, you keep the money. You can't do that. To me, I understand the spirit of this bill, this protecting Americans from Social Security clawbacks. But in one way, you're not protecting broader Americans,
right.
Most Americans who depend on the system by doing this.
When you factor in that Social Security pension fund is underfunded.
Right. So you're now making it easier. Now, is 3 years enough time? Is that fair? I think so. But what about going into the guts of Social Security and fixing it?
Yeah.
We don't see anything about that, do we?
Starting at the root cause.
No, we don't go near the root cause, right? It's all foam, no beer, right? That's how I look at it. So they want to go in and they want to go ahead and pass this bill. I understand why. So I don't know if you read the story about, just happened to overpay $72 billion on Social Security from 2015 to 2022.
Staggering.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
So these improper payments made $72 billion. They didn't, no oversight. So you're not talking about a couple of bucks here. From fiscal years 2015 to 2022, the SSA is estimated to have made nearly $72 billion in improper payments, the majority which were overpayments. By the end of 2023, SSA had an uncollected overpayment balance of $23 billion.
That's insane.
So you're telling, so now think about this. Now, they're not saying is what this improper doesn't mean fraud. It just means that they overpaid. So now, this is from 2015. This 3-year clawback says those people who got that money, we can't get it back. We cannot claw it back.
Yeah.
In a system, like you said, is leaking. So we're going to just go ahead and make the system weaker. And then, of course, there's this report that details all the several recommendations for recovering the overpayments, issuing underpayments. But the SSA was prompted in 2018 that there was a problem. 2018, and that the SSA responded with plans to actually implement a comprehensive debt management product. But this was halted in 2024. You know why? Lack of funding.
Imagine that. Wonder why. Yeah.
So you wonder, as Lance talks about, it's just math. And so many people depend on this, which has become a pension.
Yep.
Why people are skeptical. The absolute mismanagement of these funds that we've entrusted the government with is beyond disgusting. There's no joy there at all.
Even just the bureaucratic processes that are involved in getting things changed. When my grandfather passed away, my grandmother received both of their Social Security payments for almost an entire year after notifying Social Security. And
Wow.
these were funds she had to pay back. I mean, obviously as her de facto financial advisor, I was telling her, do not spend these funds, set them in an account, keep them segregated so that when they come knocking, because they will.
That's a good grandson.
Yeah, I got to watch out for grandmother.
You can do.
Yeah, but almost an entire year, and they notified Social Security within a week of his passing because they wanted to get everything in place.
Did they take the money back?
They did. Yes. Oh, yes. They certainly did. Yeah.
What if grandma didn't notify him?
Right. Or what if she had just assumed that she got this money and spent it and didn't know to keep them?
And I
keep the
understand
funds.
this point where people they don't understand the system, and
Right.
they think that they're not looking to rob anybody.
Yeah.
Right? Grandma wasn't looking to, oh, look at this, I'm getting away with something. She thought maybe she's entitled. What if she just went ahead and spent that money, and now they were going to claw it back?
Right.
So to your point, you got to start with the root of the issue that doesn't get this far.
Yeah.
So we get all these stupid bills that do nothing, as opposed to going into the system and understanding the root cause of what happens in all these administrations.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's Social Security or whatever other government program you have, the bloat. And I mean, look at all the Medicare fraud that we deal with every year.
Yeah. Well, in an age where you can communicate almost instantaneously with anyone across the world, how does it take almost a year to get, a button clicked in a Social Security government office?
Mm-hmm. And they always say, well, Social Security, when you look at the actual cost of Social Security to run it, it's absolutely very low. It's actually very low because there's not a lot to do.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not an elaborate system that you need a lot of work to, all the money goes into the treasuries, right? These special they are treasuries, even though people scoff at them, and they are based on what you buy a treasury for, right? They are treasury securities. It's just a shame because so many older Americans depend on this system. And this bill, protecting Americans from Social Security Clawback Act, it's just another Band-Aid on a broken system.
Yep.
We get back, we will continue. Nope. We got to get our joy back. It's going to take a few minutes. Stay tuned.
The Real Investment Advice blog. It's required reading for the informed investor. Catch it today at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Building anything of substance requires careful planning, including your retirement. You need a blueprint to structure your funds against volatility and turbulence in the market. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Richard Rosso and Danny Ratliff share the RIA Retirement Blueprint. Saturday, September 14th at the Hyatt Centric in the Woodlands. How to structure your savings, level your risk, and craft a secure future. Register now for the Retirement Blueprint with Ratliff and Rosso at realinvestmentadvice.com. Realinvestmentadvice.com.
Hi, Lance Roberts here. If you're like most people, your 401k plan represents the bulk of your retirement assets. And unfortunately for many, managing your 401k plan can be difficult. There's so many choices, so many things to consider. With just a quick email, a couple of questions, you can put RIA advisors to work for you managing your 401k plan. Just simply click Ask a Question at realinvestmentadvice.com or give us a call at 855-RIA-PLAN. That's realinvestmentadvice.com.
The Real Investment Show.
And now, another page from the Real Investment Advisors Investing Manifesto. Manage risk and volatility rather than trying to manage gains. You don't have to be right all the time. Long-term investing success is a 70% gain. Let us help you reach your financial goals with RIA Advisors. Neither bull nor bear. RIA Advisors, 281-501-1791 or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Can't catch the whole show now? Listen to our podcast later at realinvestmentadvice.com.
My wife has this KitchenAid mixer. I bought it for like 15 years ago. And this is before, I guess, the invention of lighter materials. I'm not sure. Brent's nodding his head. This thing probably weighs a good close to 100 pounds.
It's a boat anchor.
It's actually shaped like a boat anchor.
The Real Investment Show podcast.
You ever lose a boat anchor, just throw a KitchenAid back there. It also works as a propulsion system.
At realinvestmentadvice.com.
I'm not banging on KitchenAid. They're awesome.
It'll run forever.
And they run forever. Need to get rid of body. Just
tie a KitchenAid to it.
Tie a KitchenAid to it.
When it comes to wealth management, most people think of stocks and bonds, but it's like enjoying one layer in a 7-layer cake. At RIA Advisors, we want to make sure you get your cake and eat it too. Social Security, Medicare, creating a tax-friendly retirement paycheck. Perhaps you're saving for college. How about life insurance, guaranteed income solutions, all along with comprehensive planning. At RIA, a holistic approach to your money is our priority. Call us today, 855-RIA-PLAN, or find us online at realinvestmentadvice.com. Realinvestmentadvice.com.
Health and financial security touches everyone within your organization. Offering benefits for all doesn't need to be complicated. Hi, I'm Tom Allen, Senior Benefits Consultant at RIA Advisors. RIA Benefits provides independent expertise to find solutions that speak to the mission of your business, the culture you want to establish, and the budget you are able to work within. Book a free consultation with me at realinvestmentadvice.com/retirement, and we'll find a solution that takes care of your most important asset, your people. realinvestmentadvice.com/retirement, realinvestmentadvice.com.
Building anything of substance requires careful planning, including your retirement. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Richard Rosso and Danny Ratliff share the RIA Retirement Blueprint. Saturday, September 14th at the Hyatt Centric in the Woodlands. Register now for the Retirement Blueprint with Ratliff and Rosso at realinvestmentadvice.com.
You're listening to The Real Investment Show.
And welcome back. So there's a bucolic place called Cumberland, city in Maryland, and it has a one-room cabin in Riverside Park, once George Washington's headquarters. It's a very pretty place, by the way. Do you realize they said that they are making an intriguing offer to attract more residents? They will offer you $20,000, $10,000 in relocation cash, $10,000 for dollar match for approved renovations on an existing home if you'll move there. Population 18,000. Looks very nice.
I'm sure it is.
It looks very nice.
I like free money. I might consider that.
You see, they do that for a lot of town, like a lot of little municipalities in Italy, right? They'll offer you money to move there. It's just interesting when I see these smaller towns offering money for them to move. And then you look at these towns and you do your homework and it's like, God, these places are beautiful. And they're 2 hours away from all the destruction in Baltimore. So at least you're far away from that. It looks totally different.
So what's the catch? Why do they have to pay people to move there?
You have to move there.
You got to move it.
catch.
But if you look at it, it just doesn't look like a lot going on. There's water. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
It's quiet. Looks like there aren't a lot of people around. That's a plus for me. Because dealing with the general public is not something I like to do, right?
Do they have a Dollar General there?
I probably
I'll
do.
bet they do.
So then you're set.
That's how you know when you're in the middle of a main street. You go through and see Dollar General. So I'll go to Amy. Hey, you want to go into the Dollar General and see what's going on? Nah, I think we'll pass.
Yeah. Have you ever actually been inside one of those?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you read, like in the Wall Street Journal, some of the stories from the employees who work there?
Yeah.
How much of it's some of the food is older than Brent.
Hey, now.
I mean, that's not just the cheese that's aging.
Yeah.
Like rats, boxes with sharp edges, right?
People
Crime.
getting locked in.
People
because
getting locked
their manager
in.
left.
But
Yeah.
can't live on the food in there. It is just amazing to read, and then what some of these employees have gone through in some of these Dollar Generals. Like, I think you can actually write a film script, Dollar General, like a horror film.
Yeah.
Or a reality show.
Yeah, if you're being stuck in a
Spend
Dollar
all
General
night in a
for
Dollar
72
General.
hours, like,
Yeah.
like Naked and Afraid.
Naked in a Dollar General.
That's just a normal Tuesday.
Yeah. Right.
I'm telling you, man. If they're saying we're not third world, I think we're there. So it's just amazing when I see how these companies are literally falling apart.
Yeah.
Dollar Tree, Dollar General, where you would think they would be thriving in an economy like this. But they're not. Because in some of the areas they are, these people can't even afford it.
Right.
And I guess I don't really want soup from 1986. I mean, I'm going to go for something maybe more 90s.
Let's not test that expiration date.
I bet that Campbell's chicken noodle soup is okay from 1986.
Probably better quality ingredients. Let's
Well,
be
do you ever
honest.
see those experiments like with Twinkies and McDonald's Quarter Pounders and McBurgers that have been out for 40 years and they still look like that? I mean, they haven't deteriorated.
Yeah.
They're just fine.
Twinkies will survive a nuclear apocalypse. So,
I watch an apocalyptic show, and that's all they had left
We're Twinkies?
were Twinkies, and they were fresh as hell.
That's just science.
The benefits of science. You think like a 20-year-old Twinkie would what's in there, what's festering there, would cure a pandemic? If you put what's in there against the germ, that germ's not going to make it,
Nope, not a chance.
right? So you can just rub it all over yourself like Vicks Vapor Rub, right? I don't know how we got on that topic, but it is interesting. So we wonder why. Overall, there's this meme. It's so funny. They say, I don't know. Here's a photo of people in the 70s on the beach. Do you notice anything? Nobody's really that overweight. Everybody seems okay. And then you go now and you see all the
60%,
disease, and you see how, the kids have these chronic illnesses at such a young age.
Yeah.
It's sort of frightening.
I think it's also part of the shift of the household in the United States. It used to be one person working in the household, one staying at home. I remember every time I'd go to my grandmother's, she would make fresh food. Every time we'd go see her, fresh food.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was growing up, both of my parents were working. It was a 2-income household out of necessity at times, and so that kind of was lost. And we had a lot of sugary foods and a lot of less high quality food.
But I'll tell you, Jonathan, this has gone on a lot longer than you think, because I'm a little older than you, but growing up in the 70s, it was that way too. More packaged food. Yes, grandma always made it. Even my mother would cook. But for the most part, the surge in, or the resurgence of easy and convenience and packaged foods. Like, I wouldn't eat anything unless it was in cellophane. Like, I'm mostly packaged foods.
I need that flavor.
When they got that blood chemistry, I'm mostly packaged foods. I'm like half ring ding, it's. But that started, TV dinners, right? That was a big thing. Brent, you remember those TV dinners in the cellophane with the meatloaf?
Hungry Man dinners?
Hungry Man. And then
yeah.
they had to graduate it up to the Hungry Man. I would eat 2 of those suckers as a kid. I was just slightly overweight. And I would eat 2 of those suckers. And then I would drive my mother crazy because there were certain things I didn't like. Like, you were supposed to finish every one of those little compartments.
Little pockets.
Whatever that apple crisp thing, that was way terrible. And the peas, oh my God, who's eating peas? Right?
Those were rejected from Campbell's when they were canning them.
You know what? I really do think that's the case. I really do think that's the case. So, there's all different ways now to get a credit score. We used to have all these traditional methods of how you get a credit score. But now you got places like Credit Sesame, woo, rub the lamp, Chime Financial, right? They're advertising this perk. You can boost your credit score without ever borrowing or paying back any money. So these are what we call these credit builder cards. And they came out at the beginning of the pandemic. You deposit money into these accounts to pay bills, much like a debit card. But then FinTechs report some of those transactions to the credit reporting agencies.
Yep.
Even though there's no real credit extended. I'm sort of torn about this, because I think if you're being responsible with the money on the card, I don't think this is a bad idea. This is not like one of those pay later apps, right? Buy now, pay later. This is more of, how do I build a credit score?
Yeah.
Now, with my daughter, we got her a credit card early on, and we got one of those secured credit cards, right?
Yep.
So you are starting to see even rents, right? What's going now into credit scores has changed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I manage a couple of rental properties for my parents. And we manage it through Zillow. And Zillow has that exact feature. If you sign up to make payments through Zillow, through their website.
The rental payment.
So the tenant can sign up to make those payments through Zillow's website.
Okay.
And they get credit towards their credit report for making these payments. Zillow reports those payments to the credit reporting agencies and helps them build credit. That's one of their advertising pushes. And that's a recent occurrence.
Since we are turning into Renter Nation.
Yep.
I don't know if that's a bad idea. I think if anybody is showing that they're good stewards of the money, I just don't know how it siphons into the formula, the weighting of that.
Right.
So that's interesting to see. So when you pull the credit score, if they're using that and they're going through that Zillow system,
it does give them a bump. Yeah.
So obviously, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, how much data do they get on individual Americans that they turn into credit scores? And then we go into the algorithm, that's Fair Isaac, right? That's FICO, to produce these scores. And then lenders obviously pay for this data. and then who gets the loan and who doesn't. So, but I don't know. I don't think this is a bad. We're moving away from this traditional credit model, right? And as people rent more and more and they can't buy a house, these credit builder cards are not. I think it does. I think it does. I think it's a positive.
Yeah, it fills a gap.
I think it does. Yeah. I don't know if the 3 credit reporting agencies really know how to deal with these cards as much and how it's going to feed into FICO. But it's definitely a much more enhanced credit profile than we've had in the past. Equifax said it has credit builder cards into its reports as long as they meet industry guidelines. And TransUnion now will use them, but only a handful. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just, you're going to move into a period as consumer tastes change. And I don't like the fact that we're going into this renter nation. Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of friends who live outside of Nashville, and they say, listen, Rich, there's all these communities going up, these housing communities. Nobody buys a house in them.
No.
They rent them. And they're okay with that. They're never going to be able to come up with a down payment.
Yeah. Larger money managers are buying these houses and renting them out.
But you got to wrap your head about how these business models with FinTech are going to change. We're going to continue this discussion when we get back here on Financial Fitness Friday. Stay tuned.
Get daily investment news you can use, delivered at the speed of the internet at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Building anything of substance requires careful planning, including your retirement. You need a blueprint to structure your funds against volatility and turbulence in the market. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Richard Rosso and Danny Ratliff share the RIA Retirement Blueprint. Saturday, September 14th at the Hyatt Centric in the Woodlands. How to structure your savings, level your risk, and craft a secure future. Register now for the Retirement Blueprint with Ratliff and Rosso at realinvestmentadvice.com. Realinvestmentadvice.com.
Small businesses are now being challenged by the lack of employees and how to attract and recruit the best employees. To get the better employee, you'll have to offer a better package. Hi, I'm Tom Allen, RIA Advisors Retirement Plan Consultant. Don't assume a 401k plan is too costly or complicated for your small business to offer. Let us show you how to make the most of an affordable and effective plan that will deliver true value for your business and your employees. Call me toll free at 855-RIA-PLAN or online at realinvestmentadvice.com. That's realinvestmentadvice.com.
The Real Investment Show.
When it comes to wealth management, most people think of stocks and bonds, but it's like enjoying one layer in a 7-layer cake. At RIA Advisors, we want to make sure you get your cake and eat it too. Social Security, Medicare, creating a tax-friendly retirement paycheck. Perhaps you're saving for college. How about life insurance, guaranteed income solutions, all along with comprehensive planning. At RIA, a holistic approach to your money is our priority. Call us today, 855-RIA-PLAN, or find us online at realinvestmentadvice.com. Realinvestmentadvice.com.
And now, another page from the Real Investment Advisors Investing Manifesto. A passive investment portfolio requires active risk management. It's not a choice, it's necessity. Diversification doesn't protect against risk of loss. Let us actively help you reach your financial goals with RIA Advisors. Neither bull nor bear. RIA Advisors, 281-501-1791 or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
You're listening to The Real Investment Show.
And welcome back. You got a lot of great articles on Real Investment Advice, so you have a little more time this weekend.
Holiday weekend.
So Lance and I forever think since we started talking, I'm going to say, 2002, 2003. We just talked about how the U.S. was going to be Japan. And Richard Koo wrote some of the best books on macroeconomics and how U.S. and Japan were sort of going to be the same. But he's got a really great article today based on a discussion he had with Adam Taggart at Thoughtful Money, Japanese-style policies and the future of America. And then also Mike's just written one about yield curve shifts and signals for stockholders. So if you have a chance, go in and read those articles and sign up for the newsletter at realinvestmentadvice.com. So again, we were talking about these hybrid ways or more creative ways to build credit. So here's a really good story, and this is out of the Wall Street Journal. So James Adair, this guy was a retail associate out of Seattle. He opens a Chime credit builder around a year and a half ago. So he's got several unpaid bills. His score was under 600.
Ouch.
So that's the first 3 months. Then it started to level off. So then he opened up a credit builder account with a different FinTech. And then eventually he used that as his score started to build. And this is where I could see is a progression to credit cards with Capital One and Discover. And then his score now has increased 75 points. He doesn't know how much came from the FinTech cards, how much from the traditional cards, but he's talking about, that it's a marathon. And we tell people this, when their credit score is dinged, it was a lot faster to get it down from 800 to 600 than it's going to be to go back up.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a plan and a progress step by step for you to get back. So what I do like about these, like say Chime, these credit builder accounts, not even more for kids, because there's enough for younger adults to build credit with these secure cards. But if I made a mistake, and people do, although there's this whole thing now with dating, when my daughter first asked me, Dad, if I was going to date, what's the first question I'm going to ask? Now she's getting older.
Maybe not the first, but definitely top of the list would be finances.
What's your credit score?
Yeah.
And she goes, really? I'm like, yeah, you're going to want to know.
Yep.
Wow, it sounds terrible. Yeah. So there's this whole controversy now because there's a whole dating app built on credit scores.
Really?
Yes.
I'm not surprised.
So I was watching it on Fox about a month ago, and they're torn. Like, oh, gosh, that's terrible. Like, I don't want it. I think it says a lot.
Yeah.
I think your credit score says a lot. If anything, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. If your credit card's 600 and my credit's 850 or 820 or whatever it is, which is where mine is, right? Explain to me, John, what happened? Like maybe it was a situation, right? People do get into trouble. That doesn't mean they aren't recovering. The recovery of how you're making it better says a lot about a person's financial resiliency, how they think about things, personal responsibility, which seems to be really off these days. No one really seems to be personally responsible for anything. So I do like the fact that you can use these credit builders because you're going to have to go the way people are going. And renting is where people are going. I mean, I cannot go a block now without finding another apartment building going up. Not that I like it. It's more of urban blight, but I understand why. They wouldn't be building these if people weren't moving into them. Right? So having, like what you said, the ability for Zillow to report, hey, this person is timely on their rent, I think that does show financial responsibility. And like this gentleman, James Adair, he's like, listen, I couldn't get these. My credit score was too low. I couldn't get traditional cards even, right? I had to go through this process, and that's why I used this Chime credit builder card for about a year and a half to bolster and then graduated. I think it says a lot for someone who had a problem with credit to go ahead and start building it up again. Because like he said, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon process to get back to where you were. If you can't do it, that's saying you don't have the financial discipline and you're going to get into trouble again. Those people who can do that and use these cards properly. I usually don't like a lot of this FinTech stuff. I don't see a problem with this.
No, I agree. I think it provides an important stepping stone for people who have, found themselves in a hole.
Mm-hmm.
When you find yourself in a hole, put down the shovel, stop digging, and try and find a path out. I mean, it demonstrates fiscal responsibility.
So these, and you would say, well, these cards, the interest rate must be terrible. No, they don't generally charge interest, but they bring in revenue for fintechs through interchange or other fees, as well as, most importantly, new customers. If I'm getting this through Chime, that means that as my credit builds, what other products, right? I've captured Jonathan in my system.
Mm-hmm.
Now what do I do?
Let's wrap the tentacles.
Did you say? What'd you say?
Wrap the tentacles.
You said tentacles.
Yes, I did.
Not what I thought you said. Okay. So that's good. We don't want to go there. So you have to keep in mind they get these new customers, and most important is the data.
Yes.
Data is everything. Information is everything, right? So now I know this person's profile, and that is even more valuable than any interest I'm going to be able to charge.
Correct.
So I think there are going to be more and more companies that are going to be offering these kinds of cards. I can't imagine this is not going to take off. Besides Chime and Credit Sesame, you're going to see these credit builder cards become much bigger for banks who want to bring them into the foray, into the fray. I think it's going to happen.
Well, and also to your point, the data is really the value there. And with these cards like Chime, they can see exactly where you're spending your money and where you're purchasing. They can then break that down by demographics and sell that to different marketing agencies.
Think how valuable
companies.
that is over any interest charge
Right.
you're going to have, right?
Right.
So
if something is free, you're the product. That's the thing you need to remember.
wow. I got to knit that on a pillow.
Yeah.
But that's true.
Yep.
Nothing is free. And your information is worth. I mean, listen, the government, IRS gets, how many data breaches have we had? I have clients that will call, just this month.
Yeah, right.
Ticketmaster, AT&T. I have clients that are getting barraged with letters. I have clients that go, I don't even remember ever using Ticketmaster. Well, you did probably in the 70s and the 80s, did you?
Yep.
Well, yeah, I probably did. It is disgraceful. The things that we focus on in government, where your own government gets breached. This is a real issue. I mean, who doesn't have your social security number?
Yeah. I mean, don't sign up for Disney Plus,
Well, I'm not going to do that anyway. But to your point, I just got AT&T letter, and then I'm getting texts, hey, good looking, how you doing? Want to meet for golf? I'm like, all of a sudden I got a barrage of texts. I'm like, I bet AT&T got breached.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting all these texts. And I wonder how many people, I know Brent likes to toy with them. So Brent will always I don't want to even respond.
I don't engage.
I don't want to engage. But Brent tortures these people in such a eloquent way. It's diabolical. It's a genius, but it's funny as hell. Because
Have you begun getting texts from Kamala?
They know better. I'm not on that list.
I haven't.
That's how you know your credit's been breached.
I don't know where to go with that. Something's been breached. How about Tim? You getting any from him?
Not from Tim.
Okay, that's a nay then.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just you wets.
So, I lost my train of thought. So, I think that next year, I'm going to put a big initiative on for clients and people who listen to the show or anybody who wants to. Cybersecurity workshops and webinars.
Yeah.
Finding experts to come in and really assist, because no one is helping with this issue. I mean, think about all we do to protect data. And you still have to worry. We have triple bank encryption. These criminals are 3-4 steps ahead of us at least, right? And preserving client data is so important, right? But most importantly, the way older adults get scammed by things that even look like scams.
Yep.
My girlfriend's mother, I have only some advice is what I give. Don't click anything. Why do older people like clicking stuff? They like to click on links. It's like a hobby. let's click here and see where this goes. I don't click on anything. I get a text. Oh, and you know, they're so good on these texts, right? We were supposed to meet for lunch, Jim. Where are you? So then Jim is like, a guy named Jim goes, oh, crap. I'm sorry. I must have missed it. Who's this? And they're
Hook
right.
them in. Yeah.
So we have to find a way to help, especially our older clients, which helps their children, to have their parents not click on stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we make jokes about it, but it is a real thing.
And I have clients that are so smart and savvy, and they have wound up sending money.
Yep.
And it flabbergasts me, and I see why. But so next year, it's going to be, I think, a big initiative for us to try to help people make good decisions around keeping their data protected. And that's all we got. We hope you have a wonderful Labor Day. Sign up at Real Investment Advice. Retirement Blueprint. Get your butt in the seat for a couple of hours. We're going to feed you, even though Danny was against that. He just thinks water, bread and water. We want you there. We're back on Tuesday. Take care. We love you.